Welcome back, everyone. Today, we have the honor of hosting a remarkable woman who empowers non native English speakers to speak English with confidence, clarity, and empathy. She's into mindful communication and leadership development. There's going to be so much for us in the store today. Vera Daskalaki.
Thank you, thank you. It's an honor, and I'm excited as well about this conversation. I remember having you as a guest in my show, and we really had a value-packed conversation. And now I would like to answer any questions, share stories, experiences, and also tips for the people that are watching or listening this show.
To be very honest, I've been super excited for this conversation because we had this conversation once before and you invited me as a guest, and we had some amazing vibe which we shared together, some amazing conversations. So let's take them forward.
Yes, absolutely. I would like to start with the intro you gave for me. I'm very honored that such an intro is about me. I usually don't focus on myself, I focus on others and what challenges they have and how I can help. And it's really weird for an introvert who is into communication to have such an introduction. Um, the most important thing is for the people who are watching or listening to take away today is the words that you choose and the way you speak them matter and have power.
True. So I'd
Mhm.
really love to get started with mindfulness and understand from you that why do you think, number one, that mindfulness is so important in being a great communicator? And from your experience, what are some simple tips and tricks that we can incorporate in the way we talk to be
Mm,
more mindful?
yeah. Okay. Mindfulness is a state of awareness when you are fully present in your body and your mind. And when you're communicating like us now, we are, clear in what we want to say, and we say it in a simple way, digestible way. So mindfulness makes real sense when we combine it with um, public speaking, negotiating with anything. Um, for me personally, the mindfulness is a journey. I used to teach at a university here in Switzerland, and I noticed that people were pushing themselves to speak in another language, English, and
Yeah.
they felt uncomfortable. So the awareness of, ease into the situation was not present. And I
Mhm.
realized that this is the first thing. And a few tips that you can ease into a mindfulness state is the way you breathe, the way you speak to yourself, to your mind, to relax, and then the order and the clarity of the thoughts that you want to convey to your audience or even to one.
Mhm.
So these
Right.
are these are powerful, simple tips. When we are under pressure or in a situation that people are watching us, observing us, because we have to, present something, say something important among other people who are even more important than us, we get
Yeah.
blocked.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've had that situation, that experience. I've had it. I felt, why should I speak now? You're into this fear or perfection state.
Yeah.
So regulating your body with some breathing and reminding yourself that what I have to say is really important. It matters as long as I say it in a very clear way, then
Uh-huh.
you're ready.
So basically, not to getting too bothered about what people are thinking or what people are going to say about you. Instead
Mhm.
of that, just being focused on what you have come up with and what you want to say.
Absolutely. That's one thing. And then keep your ears open. Be a good listener. You might catch
Right.
something that you find useful or that
Right.
can help you keep the conversation going or even ask a very useful question and then step back, relax, energize, re energize, and then go back to the game.
Yeah.
So it's a a mindful game of watching your energy, protecting your energy, and then giving your energy.
One of the latest events that I did, all the questions they were coming up with, they were on that I get really scared. And speaking before the event, even a day or before, I may feel that, oh, everything is fine and I'm feeling too relaxed. I'm going to nail it. But then just few minutes or couple of hours ago, before hitting the stage, there's some kind of a fear, some kind of a restraining feeling that takes over. Breathing doesn't work at that time. So this is what people had to say, that I tried like breathing and tried different asanas, but it didn't work. What to do, Kashira? I think this happens even with some great speakers.
Yes,
So
it
when
does.
you must have taken so many stages and interacted with people, how do you deal with this feeling?
It is absolutely normal to get the jitters before the big moment, even if you are an experienced speaker or if you are an introvert or an extrovert. It's absolutely
Right.
normal. What is important is to be consistent throughout the preparation you make before the event. That means small steps and finding a routine that grounds you and helps you deliver your message. One thing that I suggest to everyone who is going to appear on a stage, on a podium, is visit the space. Make the space yours. If you are allowed 15 minutes, an hour, a day before the event, go and make the space yours. Familiarize yourself, your body. Who are going, which direction you're going to be looking at, how big the stage is, and what fear of appearing in front of people is gone. Then you are dealing with your mind and your body and your nerves. One absolutely great tip that I give is the love memo to my clients, which means record yourself 3 things in the bathroom before you appear on stage or present with this following things is what is my mission today? What takeaways would I like them to have from me? And who is my audience? Um, Play it, remind yourself, empower yourself in private that you are okay, and go and do what you have to do. That's the love memo, giving love to yourself in a fragile, state.
Oh, wow. I love that concept. Love memo.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really empowering actually. It's like a kind of a reminder that you set for yourself, that what is your goal. And the
Mm.
second thing you said is what will be the takeaway and who is your
Yes.
audience? Three
Yes.
notes. Okay.
Yes. Yes. 3, no more than that.
Wow. That's wonderful. So I think I'm
We tend
definitely going
to,
to use that.
over explain or be very descriptive in our head of how I'm going to, what I'm going to say. But what I tell everybody is, um, anyone who is presenting is telling a story.
Uh-huh.
So make sure that you deliver the pearls of the story. Otherwise, it will be not authentic. You will not connect with the audience. So what are your
Um,
takeaways?
Basically thinking about what you are delivering to the audience. What is
The
it that they're going to be?
center is not you. It's like a false idea we have or concept that we have. The eyes are on me because I'm presenting. No, the main queen or kings are the audience. You have to
Yeah.
tell them the story.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just in a different place in the room. That's all.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting way to look at it. That you're just
Mhm.
sitting at a different place and doing presenting. It's all about audience, that they gonna be taking away from that talk, from that speech. That's really interesting way of looking at it. And I
Yeah.
think when we think at it from this perspective, it kinds of lighten us, and it kinds of shifts that pressure that, oh, every eyes is on me.
And it doesn't matter if you have an accent. It doesn't matter if you forget a word, as long as you follow the thread of your story or your message. That's
Yeah,
communication.
yeah. Oh, I love that. That's interesting. See, this is what you get to know when you speak with an expert like Vera.
Ah,
That's amazing.
it comes through experience and it comes through your own journey of feeling vulnerable, feeling afraid or not perfect. But at the end of the day, this has nothing to do with who you are.
Yeah, true. You are also a non-native English speaker, right?
I am born in Greece but raised in England.
Okay.
And my background is also German with a German grandmother. So I carry a lot of cultures. I'm really blessed to be able to understand these three
Mhm.
cultures. And I don't know, I've never had comments or remarks that, oh, you sound not native or you sound too something. The remarks I used to have was about my name. You sound very British, but your name is different. Why? And
Uh-huh.
I stopped giving explanation and I said, because that's it. Doesn't your name doesn't define you. Your voice
Yeah.
does, your message does, your presence does. This
Yeah.
is what we say, creating your personal brand.
Mhm.
This is
Yeah.
it.
It's very evident, like the way you converse with people, concise, easy to understand. And that is something which is extremely important when people are lucid in their conversations. That kind of emphasize on the impact of a simple conversations. So many people, they are worried about adding too many vocabularies and too many complicated words. And
Mhm.
when people forget that how powerful is a simple sentence, simple conversation.
Yeah, yeah, I understand what you're saying. Especially women in high positions have still the tendency to over explain themselves. And that means when you start over explaining yourself or, using more words, you lose your own power at this moment
Yeah.
because people can smell that she is going way beyond why. And second, you lose the train of your thoughts.
Mhm.
More is less always, and you don't have to be using the most fancy vocabulary to impress
Yeah.
people, as long as
Mhm.
you can go to the point and ask the right questions and listen. A great conversation means you listen to each other or to everybody.
And that's where the importance of articulation and clarity in your thoughts comes in action. So this is
Yeah.
another challenge which I got to know from the people when I was in that workshop. A lot of them, they had to say, when I think about what I have to say in my head, it looks really powerful. But when it comes out in words, it just feels that I've lost some impact. So
Yeah.
basically, people who lack the clarity in thoughts or the way it should be articulated in that concise manner, the way you said, how can that thing be worked upon?
Well, that means that there's not enough space to practice, like really say what you think and how you think it. That's why the thought becomes bigger in your head. And the moment you open your mouth, you think, oh my God, it's way too much. Where do I start? Or this inner conflict. So I would suggest if you have colleagues or teams, practice speaking or expressing your views with them and get feedback before you have this big day or this workshop and feel frustrated or ask for a mentor or in general feedback. And people are
Mhm.
afraid of feedback.
Mhm.
Becomes way too personal, and we
Mhm.
are afraid to get hurt our ego, like, why I'm a manager and people give me XYZ feedback, I'm not good, how can that be? Feedback, if you switch your mindset, the mindfulness, it is a more of an opportunity to improve and a lesson to take and grow rather than have it as a personal attack. Of course, it depends on how people give feedback, but the
Mhm.
intention of feedback is not to insult us, is to make us
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, that's really insightful. What I feel is when we are not clear in our thoughts, or maybe when there are so many words and so many thoughts, and you really want to come out concise, what we could do is think of initial 2 or 3 pointers when we are in a
Mhm.
conversation. For example, you have to answer any question. Think of top 3 pointers, start with that, and that can give you a momentum to stay in the conversation like that. When you start thinking about things in pointers, I think it sets you in the right direction to have that more concise
That is
conversations.
one way. The other way is to think in keywords.
Okay.
So depending on the subject or the agenda of the event, the meeting, I
Uh-huh.
would like to, I say to my clients, focus on the keywords. What do these keywords tell you, or how could you answer based on that? So it's more of a mind map, instant mind map, instead of being under pressure to come up with 3 bullet points lists in your head. Relax. So
Uh-huh.
use the keywords and expand from that. And
Uh-huh.
at the end, finish with a question. Throw back the ball. Don't give just an answer.
Uh-huh. So
Give
questions like call to
call to
action.
action, or what do you think? Is that clear enough?
Uh-huh.
So people might not feel that it's clear enough, or confirm that what you said was clear. So was it clear enough? Oh, yes, it was. Or no, can you explain more further about such and such? And you
Yeah.
get the opportunity to expand without over explaining.
Scenarios wherein people are required to speak impromptu on any particular topic. So, what do you think? What kind of instant thoughts they can work upon, or they could think in what direction so that they're able to speak something for?
Impromptu means freedom. And sometimes freedom is becoming like a little monster, way too much space. Where do I go?
Yeah.
So I would suggest start with a memory, start with something that is very personal to you, and expand, because we all have an experience or something that connects us to um, the topic in that day. And the
Yeah.
other thing is, impromptu means how you react under stress, under pressure. So
Yeah.
you can really be honest and say, well, I haven't thought about that. Let me
Uh-huh.
think out loud with you. Honesty
Yeah.
wins rather than, what do I say now? I don't feel smart. I don't feel XYZ. You're not
Yeah.
mindful. You're not grounded.
Yeah.
And it takes
Uh,
practice. It takes effort to reach that stage. So don't go in that kind of challenge without, experiencing others doing that. Saying that, oh gosh, that's a tough one, or yeah, that's a good one. I need to think about it. Give me a second.
yeah.
I'm not.
Mm, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. And you spoke about Toastmasters. I was introduced to Toastmasters just last year. It's
Yes.
amazing.
I have a question. So what have you learned so far from um, experiencing Toastmasters?
That's super interesting question because there are so many things to learn. And to start with, number one, it is you get used to the stage. So joining Toastmasters, it was like you can take stage every week. And every week you are there on spotlight in different roles. Be a prepared speaker, you could be an impromptu speaker, you could be an evaluator.
Nobody's going to, on purpose damage you in any way, right?
Yes,
It's just
yes,
you getting acquainted with this space, this
yes.
um, role.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. So you did
absolutely.
it. What are your goals from now, from here on, as a speaker?
Ah, well, is a tree which has to grow and start giving me shade. So I want to be speaking and speaking and speaking. Also, because this is one thing which I've never done growing up. I always tell
Ooh.
people, given the fact that I was born into conservative family where girls have limited exposure to outside world and not even having proper conversations with people outside. And when you grow up in such kind of environment, you don't know how to talk to people. You don't know what are
You
the
don't know the
etiquettes.
art of interaction, the simple pleasure of interacting with people.
Yes,
right?
I had no idea how interaction could be so magical. I just missed all these things growing up in my childhood. But since the time I got on my own and I realized that this is something which I want to do, and I just feel that communication is my cup of tea. There are problems,
Mhm.
there are things, there are challenges, but let me just start ironing them one at a time and let me go to the level where I have already started enjoying various aspects of keynote speaking, like taking stage. It just gives me immense pleasure wherein I'm interacting with people, sharing the message I have and all the experiences that I've had in my childhood, because there are so many people still who are going through such thing, who are still living the same life. So I feel that I was the lucky one who got an opportunity to come out of it and be on my own and live my life on my terms. And if I could help even one person through my experiences, then why not?
It's a great point you're raising. Each culture has its advantages and disadvantages, and the most common thing is how people speak in every culture and how
Mhm.
women are expected to be in certain cultures
Yeah.
more than others. And for me, the moment I realized that speaking a second or third language is not about the grammar or the vocabulary, but it's about how you allow yourself to open up to the language and
Mhm.
say something, interact, was very clear to me that I didn't belong in the university, dry, old fashioned university system. I wanted to exactly inspire people who
Mhm.
feel blocked, ashamed to make mistakes,
Mhm.
um, tell the story, if not in a stage like you, but in a room, get promoted, feel good
Mhm.
about it, and enjoy while doing this, then I breached everything with mindfulness.
Mhm.
This is for me a pivotal point in my career and in my life when I realized these two belong together.
Yeah, true. Wow.
It's very important. And for all the women in the world, it's even more important to remember that you take your power when you're not justifying your message, when you say A, B, C, not D, F until Z. So that's part of communicating clearly, concisely, and
Yeah.
mindfully.
Yeah. And that also reminds me of how important it is to be authentic in your thoughts, in your messages, your entire self on a stage and sharing your messages, your thoughts. And that is all possible when you're being authentic to your own self.
Exactly.
When Yeah, it's like when you just embrace who you are, where are you coming from, what are your
All
roots?
have something important to say.
Yeah,
We all have something important to say, and it matters.
yeah,
I cannot stress
absolutely.
that more. We all have something important to say and to share the message. So,
Yeah,
what we're doing today, it is so key to others as a reminder that you're not going to say something stupid. You're not going to ask something stupid. You're not going to look stupid. Just have enough courage to, say something, ask even, and let others speak as a, warm up to taking on the stage or presenting fully yourself in a room. Ask questions.
yeah,
Be brave enough to
yeah,
just ask questions.
yeah. And that actually comes from when you realize that you're important.
Mm,
It sounds like such a simple thing, but it's really so difficult to consider yourself important, to give yourself that value. We just keep thinking that everybody else is super intelligent, everybody else is confident, everybody else is good, and we are nothing.
comparing
And
ourselves constantly to others rather than letting others inspire us and then be
yeah,
ourselves and show our true colors is one of the main issues for any society.
Yeah.
For example, in Switzerland, everybody has to be correct and, perfect and effective. And I have some clients that they are afraid to make mistakes and they feel blocked. And when I remind them that if you don't make mistakes, you don't learn, you're stuck, you don't make progress, you're stuck in the stage you are now, then they feel safe enough in the coaching session to say, well, I don't know how to ask this, or how do I say that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to feel
Right.
safe in order to open up.
And this is what we have to pick and go ahead, knowing that even if people are judging you, just let them be. This is what they have to do. You need to go ahead with your blinders on that, okay, this is what I am, this is what is my message. I'll go hit the stage, deliver a talk, and come back. So when you start thinking that concisely, it just gives you that immense power to just go
Mm.
there and start for yourself, do things, and
When
come
you're
back.
done, reflect on what was your experience,
Yeah.
right? Ask for feedback, but also talk to yourself. Like, what did I
Yes.
enjoy? What did I
Yeah.
really love? And what I would like to improve. And many people, including me, don't like our voice, how we sound. The
Uh-huh.
moment we start accepting how we sound, then it's another powerful moment. We do not,
Yeah.
I won't say care, but we do not put so much importance on our voice, but our message. And at the end of the day, nobody cares if we speak with, George Clooney voice or someone famous, but the message, right? As
Yeah.
long as it's clear, well articulated, nobody is, wondering what is she saying right now? What's the word? Then you're fine. And as
Yeah.
well, you feel safe in your own body. You
Yeah.
know that this is my voice, this is how I sound. It's okay. Move on. I have a
Yeah.
message to deliver.
Mhm. Absolutely. That's really insightful. That's amazing. Vera, the big topic,
Mm,
non-native English speaking challenges. Okay. I really want to come on to that. That is one Because thing which I've spoken to various guests on my show. Like one, I was speaking with Nigel Clark. He's the founder of Alumnus English Institute in UK.
mhm,
We share this super interesting conversation. So he comes up with the post, what Britishers say and what do they mean.
mhm,
Okay. And that post was so engaging. It really encouraged me to invite him as a guest. And we had this amazing conversation. So he also said, and we kind of resonated on the thoughts that he, in spite of being a Britisher, he understands that what are the problems non native English speakers face. And it's also because majority of the native English speakers, they don't understand that if you're not going to slow down or if you're not letting the other person understand, you're not communicating.
no, it's a one side show,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. And as much as it is important for a non-native speaker to elevate their understanding, to start working on their comprehension skills, to start understanding different words, it is equally important for a native speaker to make it a balanced conversation wherein, according to the audience, as you rightly mentioned, understanding who your audience is and then communicating in that way that your message lands.
Uh, exactly, when the message lands and how it does land.
Yes,
So, as a
yes.
native English speaker, you are not aware of the challenges someone has who isn't not native in your language, and you just take it as a given, like, yeah, we have a meeting, blah 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 blah. You don't wonder, should I go slower? Should I ask? Are we on the same page? Do I need to clarify? You just deliver. And
Yeah,
it's not mindful, it's
yeah,
rude. If I'm going to be very blunt about it, it's rude. That
Yeah.
shows that you are there to just do your job and go about the next thing. So
Yeah.
meetings or interactions with natives and non-natives need this kindness that mindfulness provides. And with my clients, whether they're natives or not, I always make sure that they remember to ask, is everything fine so far? You know, checking in with
Yeah.
your counterpart. Are we on the same page? Do you need more information? Is that enough? Shall I move on? Rather than just give you a monologue. It's a monologue.
Yeah.
You need to have the courage to ask a
Mhm.
question or a
To ask.
clarification
Yes.
without feeling ashamed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
when things become too much, it's also you have the right to stop and ask for explanation, need some extra time, or whatever the issue is for clarification. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. There's a speech I delivered on the challenges which non-native English speakers face in understanding native accents, in voicing out in global calls, in global meetings. When I delivered this speech, there was this kind of a roar in the room because people resonated with it so much. I realized is that we face challenges, but we find it challenging to speak about it that we are not able to understand their accents. We
Mm-hmm.
just find it embarrassing as well because majority of the corporates in your job, this is the basic requirement to be able to speak and understand English. I like to consider that speaking English is one part. Yes, you need to be reasonably good at it so you're able to do the business. Not being able to understand the accent, number one, definitely work on it, watch more English content to understand what people are saying. At the same time, if you're not able to understand, please have the courage to say, sorry, I didn't get it. Please, could you say that again?
Meaning that you cannot follow, or
Yeah,
even native speakers. We tend among other native speakers to really not care about the pace. We just speak fast, and people cannot
yeah,
follow sometimes. And this is where humor comes in, and it's very useful. There was a Scottish person, and my client was
mhm,
lost. And instead of saying, "Oh my God, I'm useless. How can I follow this person?" He just
uh-huh,
applied some humor and he said, "Well, I haven't had a trip to Scotland yet to be, very accustomed to your sound. Would you mind slowing down a bit so I can follow?" And the Scottish guy
mhm.
laughed and he said, "Yes, of course, I know. This is a really hard accent to follow. Sorry." And, continue.
Yeah,
So a little bit of humor sometimes to
to
diffuse
ease the
situation is
question. Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah,
Humor that doesn't
right.
insult, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that not everybody has that kind of a sense of humor to be able to
Mm.
come up with the thoughts instantly and connect with people because I am one of them. I feel that I really suck at humor part.
I think you should watch some funny movies and see how
Okay.
people interact and laugh yourself
Uh-huh.
first.
Uh-huh.
Laughter is, there's laughing yoga. You learn to laugh and breathe. There
Okay.
is one, yes.
Okay.
So learning to laugh at yourself first, it is great gift because then you stop feeling perfect.
Uh-huh.
So watch some films, funny moments or whatever, and maybe try to introduce a little bit of that into your daily, interactions with people and start from there. You don't need to come up with the best joke if you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
humor is a great helper.
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, definitely I get that too. It helps in easing the
Yes, and
conversation.
include humor in your life wherever you can.
Oh yeah, yeah, I really need that part.
Exactly. You relax. The endorphins in your body makes you
Yeah.
make you happy. Well, I made this mistake. Oh well, maybe someone famous has made the same mistake or whatever. There are some silly videos of famous people falling or doing
Yeah.
something really ridiculous, and then you can see it's not just us, the mortal ones, that make mistakes or have issues or challenges. It's
That's
everybody.
really interesting, how humor can really help you in easing the conversations. Okay,
Mhm.
that's one takeaway definitely for me, and I'm sure for the people there. I think what's running in my mind right now is because I really love to know what people's background has been. Today, when we see so many successful people out there, and we see, oh wow, they're so good. They are delivering some great keynote speeches, or they're talking so fluent, but
Yeah.
everybody has had not so good and interesting start. When people
Yeah.
start, they may not be that perfect how they are sounding right now.
When we
And
start, we suck. That's the word. Okay. And it's okay, because if we don't feel that we sucked, then there is no progress in our journey.
uh-huh,
So my first day at the university, at a lecture of 500 students,
uh-huh,
Swiss students who looked very young, unmotivated, tired, and me at the center of a huge, huge room
uh-huh,
for 90 minutes um, was not a full success. People
uh-huh,
started, typing on the laptops, doing something else, and then I started to wonder, well, do I really have a good lecture here? Am I boring? Um, why people react like that? And then
yeah,
when I closed the lecture, I said, guys, that was my first day in a Swiss, university. And
uh-huh,
people started to look at me differently, like, oh, we treated her a little bit, rude in a way. We thought she's part of the system, but I was new. And the moment you think that something is not going well, address it. Do not hide it. Don't let
yeah,
it go. So it
yeah.
helped me when I said that was my first day. The next week, people were more attentive. Not all, but there was a shift in the energy in the
Mhm,
room. And then I thought,
mhm.
well, yeah.
And did that moment discourage you at all that, oh my God, maybe something is not working out?
Saying it even was for me very scary because it's 500 people. But
Yeah,
when I went back into the lecturer's room, I said, wow, that was the right thing to say. Critical moments when
yeah.
we are exposed, and we should accept it and
Mhm.
grow out of this, and
Yeah.
grow from this, not out of this, from this.
When you come out of these situations, after addressing it, whether it was good or bad, when you address it, when you voice it out, it gives you a different confidence because
Exactly.
you feel that you didn't lose a track. So what it didn't work out, but you addressed it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And then you have the power in a similar situation in the future to address it again. So it
Yeah.
becomes part of your system, your reaction system.
Yes, yes. And that makes you more confident. Just like you, I have also gone through so many of these embarrassing moments because those moments have taught me so much about
Hmm.
how to go about these situations. Because had I not gone through those situations, I would have been in a different zone. But going through the pothole, you realize that, okay, this is what you need to fix. This is
Yes.
what how it works. So I think all those embarrassing moments and those times that have really allowed me to explore myself and yeah, work on the right things to be more
I
closer
think
to where I want to be.
I think you're right. And also never lose touch with your motivation, what feeds you to keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
Because people I want to become a really great presenter or a keynote speaker, but they
mhm,
lose steam on the way and they give up. Why do they give up? Because probably what they had as a goal, as motivation, was not really the true one. Motivates you and what gives you joy. For me, doing what I do gives me immense joy, pleasure to be of
mhm,
service, not
yeah,
just promote what I do. and learn from each person that I work with.
It's really important to have that passion. And first of all, realizing that, okay, this is actually something that you want to pursue for a long time. Sometimes we just get started because we got influenced by somebody, but later we realize that, okay, maybe this is not for me. This is a really powerful thing to have that kind of introspection and that kind of understanding that gives you a lot of clarity about your life and clarity about your next steps. And then when you find that clarity in your life, you realize that, okay, yes, this is what I want to do. And with that passion, that doesn't go off, even if things are not working,
I
because
can't
you know that you're in the
anything
right
more.
direction.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have real challenges, the motivation is still there. This drive is still there because it's your dream, and you can go through anything.
Yeah,
So it is important to know not only who you are, but in this lifetime, what is your mission?
yeah,
Because we are not only our career, we are beyond our career. And the way we carry ourselves at work, we carry ourselves also outside of work. So we should be aligned.
absolutely.
So you can be a great storyteller at work, but also with friends, listen to stories and tell stories if it's part of who you are.
Yeah, yeah. True, true. That's amazing, Vera. I mean, I am finding it so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing these wonderful experiences and your insights on topics like how important is mindfulness, how we can be better leaders by being mindful, better communicators. Thank you so much for all your time today. And before we conclude, I would really request if you could share tips for people that they can use to incorporate number one, mindfulness in their lives, number two, how they can become more better in communication.
Mm. Mindfulness starts from the moment we wake up until the moment we close our eyes and go back to sleep and rest. So be aware of things that you do and why you do them. And one thing is when you start using English, because now we address not native English speakers, the moment you start using that language, slow down and listen to yourself, follow your thoughts and follow what you're saying. That's mindfulness every day. Communication is a game of tennis, the ball goes back and forth. And that means if you are not sure about what the other person's saying, ask for clarification questions and sit back and listen. You don't have to do anything, just listen. And the other thing is, the moment you're listening, be an active listener. That means write down words that you find useful and that you would like to use in the future yourself, or expressions. So your counterpart is your, in a way, teacher. So use
Yeah.
them. And the other thing is, from an email to writing an email or to being present in a meeting, when it's your time to express yourself, short, simple sentences. Do not overthink. That's I think the best start.
Yeah,
Do not
absolutely.
overthink.
Do not overthink. Come up with concise sentences. And you mentioned about taking notes from what the people are saying so we can use it
Let
further
them
in
be
our
your teachers,
conversation.
because they are teachers. Everybody is each other's teacher.
So, how
And
being an
use
active listener.
Yeah, active listener. And the other thing is, do not fall into the trap of memorizing vocabulary, because you will forget it. Rather than use maybe 4 or 5 words that you would like to introduce into your vocabulary bank daily. Push
Yeah,
yourself to integrate these words. So it's not just memorizing, but integrating.
So pick up few words with which you resonate, with which,
right? Because they serve you, not just because
yes,
you want to be the best business English speaker. Then
yeah.
buy a book and give the book to your counterpart and tell them, this is the business book, read it. I have nothing to say, but you
I find
have.
this really powerful because this is what I voice out as well, that please keep your conversations as simple as possible because it can
Mhm.
take you a long way. And absolutely, we should work upon vocabulary, add few words to it. But again, use the words which are relevant to you, which are useful. Don't fill it with the dictionary. That doesn't serve the
Doesn't
purpose.
serve anybody, and it doesn't make you look smart. It makes you look more stressed,
True.
anxious, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is really powerful. Thank you so much, Vera. I
And
am grateful for your time.
thank you. It was a pleasure because I love talking about these topics again and again. I'm more inspired. Thank you for the opportunity, Kashira.
My pleasure. And for everybody who's going to be listening to us or watching us on this video, Vera does this coaching, the English communication coachings as well. And she's come up with a new concept of coaching people. If you want, Vera, I can leave your coordinates in the post also, which I'll be sharing. And I think she
Sure.
has a website as well, right, on which people
Yeah,
can
yeah,
reach out to
absolutely.
you.
Everybody who is curious, just curious, they can visit the website, and if they have questions, they can get in touch with me and clarify anything that needs to be clarified. Yes.
And another thing which I use, because I did reach out to Vera a long time ago, discussing my challenges with her. She offers this a demo call wherein you can speak to her and understand, and yeah, then take it up from there. That
Yeah, the
so you
clarity
can kind
call.
of
Yes.
consult.
Yes.
Yeah, demo
Yes.
call, right? That's what you call it.
Clarity call.
Clarity call. All right, everyone. That's a
Yes.
clarity call and actually provides you the clarity, what exactly is needed to help you become a better communicator so you can make best use of that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.